The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Morning Market Kickoff with your host, Tommy O'Brien. Now, Tommy O'Brien.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Tommy O'Brien, coming to you live from TFNN, 8:30 a.m. Thursday morning. 60 minutes to go until that opening bell, and we got markets negative territory, but off of the lows we had last night. Right now, you're looking at an S&P negative by 4 points, trading at 34.28. I got a chart up here. You see the overnight action last night spiking to a low of just above 3,400, 34.0250. That was about 7:30, 8 o'clock last night. From there, the market has drifted upwards. 34.27 just made a decent high in terms of the pre-market highs of about a high. Let's get it 34.3150. We're about 4 points off of that level in the S&Ps. NASDAQ, pretty similar action. We spiked lower to about 11,600, currently trading 11,680. Looking at the Dow. Dow right now minus 32 points on the session, trading at 28,102. We had been under 27,900 briefly. Jumping around to commodities, crude oil up 11 cents on the session, but you see the acceleration downward we had yesterday, definitely near the lower end of that range. We traded from 41 down to 39.80 yesterday. We've kind of been hanging at that level, just up a bit to $40.15, but you see the sell-off in the last hour and a half, basically, really even the last hour, from 40.50 down to 40.15. Gold contract falling off as well, 1905. We were up to 1936 yesterday. Early in the day, we make that high. Gold, we were up as high as about 1920 early this morning. Gold selling off a little bit. We have silver contract negative as well, negative 56 cents. You see that sell off to 24.66 right now. And how about Bitcoin? We got to jump to Bitcoin. Check out this run Bitcoin's having, up to 13,285 yesterday. Last Friday, we're talking about less than 5 trading days ago, 11,225. We're currently trading right near about 13,000. And notes and bonds, pretty flat action right now. The 10-year flat at 138.19. You got the 30-year up 10 ticks at 173.17. You're talking about a 10-year yield right now, hovering right at around 0.8%. All right, what else we got going on this morning? We'll jump right into the equities. Earnings season, Tesla out with their numbers last night. Strong numbers. They're up about almost $20 this morning, from $422.64 yesterday. We're trading right now at $440.37. Getting into Tesla numbers. And as we await, why not? We'll jump over to this one real quick. Weekly jobless claims out every Thursday at 8:30 a.m. 787,000, that number coming in. Looks like the market had been expecting 875,000. So a little bit less than the market was looking for. That might be part of the reason you're seeing a little bit of volatility. We'll back it up. There's your 830 bar in the S&Ps. We're up to 34.30. We're backing off a bit now to 34.23. All right, back to Tesla. Tesla shares, 440. And their headline. So, third quarter results. So they're profitable for the 5th consecutive quarter. All the hype last time was around that they'd be profitable for 4 consecutive quarters. They would be eligible for the S&P. Did not make it in there. Tesla reported third quarter results, including net income $331 million, revenue not bad, almost $9 billion in 90 days. The electric car maker previously reported deliveries 139,300 vehicles for the period ending September 30th. Earnings per share was a beat at 76 versus 57. Revenue a beat as well. As I mentioned, 8.77 billion versus 8.36. And the net income, though, slightly under. Whether you're talking about 331 million versus almost 400 million. Deliveries, always a big number the market looking for, almost 140,000 vehicles delivered. Revenue, automotive revenue compromised 7.6 billion, 91% for the quarter. Gross margins rose from 18.7% to 23.7%, quite a number in terms of gross margins, almost 24%. Operating expenses jumping 33%. He cautioned investors that it could take 12 to 24 months even to hit full capacity at these new factories after they begin operations. Tesla previously planned to start production at the Berlin factory in July 2021. So they talked about the production timelines, factories in the company's earnings call. I should make the point that for Berlin and Austin, we do expect to start delivering cars from those factories next year. But because of the exponential nature of the spool up of manufacturing plants, especially one with new technology, will start off very slow at first and then become very large. I wonder what that means, right? So their revenue by segment, you see it, automotive, it's all there. Services and other energy generation and storage, very small fractions in that deal. Fifth consecutive quarter of profits. You see it there. Lots of losses leading up. The end of 2018, right? They were really getting into some dicey territory. 2019, in terms of the market, almost becoming frustrated that Tesla might run out of cash before they actually turn the corner. But that looks like not the case. And you see the acceleration and you see that spiking profitability, 5 straight quarters for Tesla shares. And Tesla shareholders being rewarded today up to $440. This one, talk about a cult stock. We'll back it up for some context as well. But man, oh man, when you talk about, we were trading at 270. This is the run before Tesla announced that they were going to split. You're trading at about 270 post-split adjusted. You traded up to 502. And this morning, though, we're going to open about 440. You even look at the recent, avoiding that one spike high, which $500, it's definitely in play when you have Tesla earnings and the stock's trading at 440. The recent highs that you'll be looking at, though, 465, that's the high from just over a week ago. You have the high on October 1st. That high is 448.88. And then you have the highs back in September. That high going to be 461.94. So coming right up to that range on their earnings, and they'll be coming after that 502 all-time high. Tesla, 5th consecutive quarter of profitability. All right, checking out the VIX this morning. That's your daily chart. The VIX trading at 29.32. Whoops. Checking in a 5-minute. We saw the acceleration yesterday, early in the day. The VIX above 30, down to 28.40. Overnight, as the market was selling off at about 7:30 last night, VIX above 30 again, kind of just hanging out. Pretty remarkable. We got a presidential debate tonight. We got an election 12 days from right now. And, of course, it wouldn't be a day in the market unless you got some type of stimulus headline. Pelosi, Mnuchin to talk stimulus Thursday with Senate skeptical. I would say that's putting it lightly. Has anybody read anything that says Mitch McConnell would even bring this to a vote if they came to some kind of a deal, the White House and the House, in terms of Speaker of the House Pelosi, Secretary of Treasury Mnuchin, President Trump, if they came to a deal? I have not seen a path that makes its way through the Senate. The Senate, much more in line with a smaller deal, more focused. So I don't know how that plays. But nonetheless, they're going to talk today. And whether that comes through the Senate, and you're talking about a Senate that's about to confirm a Supreme Court justice 12 days out. I believe that's going to happen potentially Monday. And somehow they're going to pass some kind of stimulus. I don't think that's even possible. But the market, maybe the market is patient enough to wait with whether it's talking about a lame duck session or you wait all the way through to the new Congress, depending on how the Senate goes and whether Democrats or Republicans have the ability to pass something in dramatic fashion. S&P is negative by 8 points, 34.24 right now. Market slipping a bit to the negative. Stay tuned, folks. We'll be right back in 3 minutes.
Many of our new listeners have heard about The Tiger's Den. The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of the TFNN shows, plus see all of the charts as they happen live and have access to archives of all of those charts. You can test drive The Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days and greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets and how to make your money work for you. Details on The Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com.
TFNN has launched our brand new website. You can still visit us at the same TFNN.com URL, but when you do, you'll see a new and improved homepage with a much simpler navigation, whether you're watching Tiger TV live in high definition or just accessing your newsletter subscriptions. We even have new pricing in 6 months and yearly options. Check out the new TFNN.com now and experience all the upgrades. TFNN.com, educating investors.
Hi folks, this is Tom O'Brien. The printing presses are working 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The U.S. deficit has risen 200% in 1 year with no end in sight. The markets are looking for an additional stimulus bill to get us through this once-in-a-generation pandemic. There is no free lunch, folks. The more stimulus dollars put into the marketplace, the less your dollar is worth each and every day. This is the time to protect yourself with a portion of your portfolio in the metal market. The Gold Report comes out each Monday morning. I bisect and dissect the dollar, silver, gold, the XAU, and the HUI. The Gold Report is a long-term hedge against the dilution of your buying power. The U.S. has put more than $6 trillion into the marketplace in the last 6 months, with more expected in the next few months. The market did and does need the stimulus, but it will have long-term implications on our buying power. The Gold Report comes with a 30-day money-back guarantee. Go to TFNN.com and order the Gold Report now. Protect your buying power. Order the Gold Report now.
Are China A-shares hot or not? If you trade China A-shares, now may be time to take a closer look. Trade CHAU or CHAD, Directions Daily CSI 300 China A-share Bull and Bear ETFs. China A-shares in either direction. Visit directioninvestments.com today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction Shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV for the latest market information.
Welcome back, folks. We got markets in negative territory. The Russell actually positive by 3 points right now, trading at 1606. You see that acceleration in the Russell overnight, popping to a little bit higher price, backing that back out. Yesterday's action, the sell-off in the Russell beginning at about 1602 down to 1587. You back it up to the S&P. As you can see, we're not quite back up to that level, maybe right there that we were at about 7 o'clock last night. And that sell-off, potentially having to do with, so there was a press conference out there. The director of national intelligence, I believe the director of the FBI out there as well, talking about Iran and Russia obtaining U.S. voter registration data in an effort to influence the election. National security officials say shouldn't be all too surprising, folks, that states like Iran and Russia are out there trying to meddle in our elections. And they talk about emails being sent to people from purported. I mean, folks, if you get an email, who knows where that's from, right? But be aware of all that stuff going on. Get out there and vote. We got 12 days until the election. Whether you're early voting, whether you're sending in that absentee ballot, like the president, like myself, or you're voting in person. Get out there and vote. Make it happen. American democracy. All right, some of the other stories jumping around before we get into the equities moving today, just talking about these numbers for the weekly jobless claims. So they were looking for 875,000. It came in at 787,000. The total reflected a decline of 55,000 from the downly revised 842 from the previous week. The last time they were that low was on March 14th before things really escalated. I still believe, though, I mean, that's one way to phrase things, right? I still believe, though, that the prior record for a weekly jobless claims number before COVID, I think it was somewhere around 700 or 750,000 jobs. And we've been stuck at that number, which would be a record in any other time on a weekly basis. New initial jobless claims, a new number every single week, breaking a record since March, which is remarkable. So still almost 800,000 in that number. One reason for the decline, this states, the CNBC article I got up here, migration of workers who exhausted their regular benefits and had moved to the Pandemic Unemployment Assistance Emergency Compensation Program. That total increased by 509,000 for the week, ended October 3rd to 3.3 million, in addition to the substantial drop in the headline number continuing claims, showing a hefty drop. The level of those getting benefit for at least 2 weeks dropping by more than $1 million to 8.37 million. All right, what else we have going on in the market? This one interesting. I was reading it last night. You want to talk about a lot of capital spent at the wrong time. Quibi, I believe is how you talk about it. That's Jeffrey Katzenberg, Meg Whitman. They had raised nearly $2 billion. That is quite a capital raise for a new company. $2 billion. They had some powerhouse names behind it, though, of course, with Katzenberg, Meg Whitman, former HP CEO. You have Katzenberg. He's a big producer out in Hollywood. They raised $1.75 billion. I believe they're giving back $300 million is what they're giving back to investors as they're closing it out. Now, they had the idea, and it was probably a great idea. You're talking about $5, $4.99 a month streaming service. And what you're going to be able to do is 5 to 10 minute content reels. And when you think about, they built their entire 10 minutes or less. All right, and they had huge names coming in here. Chrissy Teigen, Idris Elba, is that how you pronounce it? Along with many others. I mean, there's huge names behind this. Investors included companies like Disney, NBC, and AT&T. All right, so talk about having a distribution in your back pocket. But guess what? It was built for 5 to 10 minute clips in a world where basically people have 5 or 10 minutes, whether you're on the train, whether you're in the office, whether you're waiting in a waiting room for the doctor's office, right? Something like that. As you're on the go, 5 to 10 minutes. Well, what happens? They launch it. The world shuts down. Everybody has plenty of time at home. They're not on the go anymore. Nobody's waiting in trains. Nobody's flying. Nobody's waiting, period. The world changed, and they lost $1.5 billion. Basically, they're giving back $300 million as that deal shuts down. All right, what else we got going on? Talking about some of the FANG stocks, back to the charts. We'll jump around to Microsoft, MSFT, trading at 214.25, down a bit. You got the NQ futures down about 20 points now. Google, pretty interesting, the days that Google has had over the last 2 days, charging higher from 1520, almost 1523 about was the low overnight coming into Tuesday. The open was under 1530, and you're trading right at around 1600 on Google as they are under antitrust from the Justice Department. But the market doesn't seem to be too freaked out about that on a context basis of you're basically right back to pre-COVID levels. Now, you look at some of the other FANG stocks, right? You're well above kind of some of these levels. Google, so kind of just above where you were pre versus, I mean, look at this move that Microsoft had. Right coming near that 382. We get to a low of 196.25, give or take. Yes, 196.25 is the low on September 18th. The 382 of the entire run it had. You're talking about within about $2 of that price tag. It's taken off from there. Microsoft trading at $214.80, but as I mentioned, pre-COVID, you're trading at $190. So you're up almost $24 from pre-COVID levels, let alone 2020. You started at $160. So you're up $55 for the calendar year in Microsoft. Amazon shares this morning trading up a bit, putting on a 15-minute, 31.90. You closed yesterday at 31.84. All right, some of the other stocks I like to take a look at. Disney shares charging higher yesterday. Now, Disney, they're dealing with some woes in California. They're not going to be able to open Disneyland anytime soon. California basically limiting, I believe it was anywhere with 15,000 or more capacity. California not allowing them to open in any regard, so they'll be shut down. But Disney shares, for some context here, I mean, that's quite a little uptrend that we're in, but not quite even back to pre-COVID levels. The high that it had following the launch of Disney Plus, 153.41. We're trading at 126.63 on Disney. Cannabis shares catching a bid, continuing to catch a bid this week. Put this on an hourly 20-day. So yesterday you charge higher out of the gate. You pull back, though, with the market. We're trading a bit higher this morning on Canopy, 19.58. We were just trading at $13 2 weeks ago, folks. Yeah, 2 weeks ago. Coming into Monday, October 5th, so 17 days ago, we're trading at $14, call it right now. You have Canopy up at about 20. And their huge investor, Constellation, struggling a bit, putting this on some dailies. I have this in the Rocket Equities and Options newsletter. We're back into this gap, which is from its earnings on June. You gapped from about a price point of 170, give or take, up to almost 182. We've now backed in 179, and we're coming right near these lows that we had. That low from October, and we also had the lows right there from September. We've backed under those levels. You want to see a little support here in Constellation. All right, folks, this market just hanging out, 34.25 in the S&Ps, 34.26, down 6 points. Checking back in on Tesla shares as they're higher this morning on Tesla earnings. TSLA, 441.31 right now. Stay tuned, folks. I'll be coming back after the break. See what else we have on tap for earnings today. I'll be right back in 3 minutes. Stay tuned.
Back in the day, I joined Hotel California in 2006, and like many of you, was drawn in by, as well as...
Whatever you think about, you bring about. Whatever you focus on grows.
You see, I believe that everything in life happens for us, not to us, and Tom ignited the fire within me to want to learn how to master the markets. So how did I go from knowing nothing about technical analysis to becoming the #1 market timer for the S&P 500 in 2018 and the #2 market timer in 2019? Simply put, I hired coaches with a proven track record, which led me to a whole new set of tools that I created to interpret the message of buyers and sellers. I would love the opportunity to teach you this award-winning set of tools and to help you improve your market timing. You can test drive my newsletter service, Mastering Probabilities, for the next 30 days with no risk to you. Plus, you'll gain access to archive workshops that'll take you step by step through my system. Sign up today by going to the homepage of TFNN.com and selecting Mastering Probability in the newsletter tab.
Bam!
If you haven't checked out the newsletters page of TFNN.com, what are you waiting for? All of the TFNN newsletters are informative, up-to-date, affordable, and a must-have for every trader looking to gain a competitive informational edge in today's markets. TFNN newsletters cover every aspect of the markets to offer you the very latest in market news. Plus, new subscribers get to test drive our newsletters risk-free for 30 days. From all aspects of the markets, including stocks, bonds, metals, commodities, and tech, there's a newsletter to fit your needs exclusively from TFNN. Stay informed each day you trade and get that competitive edge that will help you stay ahead of the game. Visit our newsletters page by going to TFNN.com and click the newsletters button near the top of the page. TFNN.com, educating investors.
Introducing Primal Edge.
Today, it's even more important to take a supplement that complements your health. Primal Edge is specifically formulated to boost your immune system and help with weight loss, better sleep, stress reduction, and the need to detox.
Our early ancestors found all their nutritional requirements in the wild environment. But today, our food sources don't contain the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients that we need to stay healthy and strong.
That's why we need Primal Edge Daily Nutrition. It includes a special blend of ionic, soil-based, vitamins, minerals, fatty and amino acids in an easy-to-use liquid form.
Primal Edge is powered by highly concentrated humic and fulvic acids, nature's preferred delivery system. They've been called miracle molecules because, like sunlight, air, and water, without them, life cannot exist.
That's right, Ellen. They ensure we receive all the nutrition we need to be healthy and thrive. We take it every morning.
Primal Edge. Just $89 exclusively at TFNN.com.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV for the latest market information.
Welcome back, folks. I got a chart of AT&T up here, charging higher on their earnings, almost $28 right now, closed yesterday at $26.72. AT&T takes a pandemic hit, but surpasses revenue expectations. Revenue, $42.3 billion, not bad. The market was looking for $41.5. They added 645,000 net new phone subscribers during the quarter. The market was looking for them to lose a net 9,000. Pretty crazy there. In terms of that beat. Chipotle, strong numbers from Chipotle there, and they are trading dramatically lower. Chipotle How about a 14.1% rise in its third quarter for sales, but the shift to delivery weighed on its profits. So they made $80.2 million for the quarter, down from about $98 million a year earlier, but strong numbers in terms of same-store sales growth, up near almost 9%, I believe, 8.3%. Jumping over to their chart this morning, though, how about a $1,000 spike lower right on their numbers from $1,366 to $1,260? Wouldn't want to be the seller that got that print. Maybe you would after the open, but quite a print. $1,260 right now. We're trading at $1,300 on the dot for Chipotle as they're $66 lower on their earnings, and again, pretty strong earnings. Coca-Cola trading higher. Earnings top estimates despite a 9% decline in revenue. Organic sales fell 6% during the quarter, but the company said demand's improving. Is in the middle of slimming its portfolio, plans to cut about 50% of its brands to focus on more popular products and those with more growth potential. Coca-Cola shares, there's your action from about $49.99, $50. We're up to $51.13 on their earnings. And after the bell tonight, we get Intel. Intel shares, seeing what they're pricing in right now, the Analyze tab on the Thinkorswim platform. How about a $2.95 move priced into the options? And when you look at what you talk about a weekly, so that's the one-day move is about $2.95. That's through today. You want to add through Friday. You're talking about a $3 move basically priced into the options for Intel. And for some context on Intel, $53.50 right now, kind of right in the middle of this big gap it had from its last earnings. See where they go tonight. Stay tuned, folks. Larry Pesavento is coming up live next. Live programming all day at TFNN. We'll be right back.